13. My thoughts were sharply interrupted by the ringing of the telephone. I picked up the receiver and listened to Boots' excited chatter. "Okay, Boots, just grab a cab. I'll have everything ready when you get here." Things had begun to get damn hot in this small town for us. I had moved from the hotel one jump ahead of the vice squad. Everybody on the track knew the police were looking for a light-skinned Negro with a pregnant woman. Now the search had moved to the hospitals. Some black-ass nigga had done some tall talking to the police, 'cause Boots had just been interviewed by 2 detectives. Removing my bankroll from under the pillow, I sat up and counted the money. There was still $300 in my roll. After paying Ray's mother $500, the cost of living in a motel the past few days was beginning to eat up my stash. A car pulled up outside. I pulled back the curtain and looked out. It wasn't Boots, but she wouldn't be long. As soon as she could steal some clothes, she would slip out of the hospital. It didn't take long for me to come to a solution to our problem. Put some highway between us and the police. Our bags were already packed, so I carried them out to the car and put them in the trunk. After that, I removed the silk scarf from around my head and combed my hair, then put our toilet articles in an overnight bag and laid it on the arm of a chair. I examined the room carefully, making sure I hadn't overlooked anything. The sound of a car stopping in front of my unit gave me a start. I peeped out the window cautiously. Boots was getting out of a cab. I rushed to the door and opened it and handed her the cab fare. We stood in the doorway and watched the cab until it turned out of the driveway. "Let's go, baby," she asked. "Ain't you gonna give me enough time to change clothes?" I removed the overnight bag from the chair. "You can change at some gas station on the highway, baby. Right now, we gonna get the hell out of here before we end up locked up tight." The mention of jail put wings on our heels. I didn't begin to relax till we got out of the city limits. The farther I got away from the city, the better I felt. After I got out in the country, I stopped at a gas station and filled the tank up, while Boots went to the restroom and changed clothes. When she came back to the car, I helped her put her suitcase in the back seat. I pulled the car out onto the highway again. I was undecided on where to go. Detroit, Chicago, and New York. With Boots sitting beside me, pouring the drinks and lighting the reefer, I was at peace with the world. "Where we going, Daddy?" she asked, crossing her legs and leaning towards me. She rubbed the back of my neck, titillating me slightly. Driving with one hand on the wheel, I put my other one between her legs and rubbed her smooth thighs affectionately. Her long, shapely black legs seemed to vibrate with heat. She moaned softly and nibbled at my ear. "I can't do nothing for at least 4 weeks, Whoreson." "You can do something," I replied with a grin. "I ain't heard nothing about your head being dead." We both laughed raucously. Boots lit up another stick of weed and choked on the smoke. She coughed for about 5 minutes while I laughed all the while. When we reached Detroit, we were still in a jocular mood. Driving down Hastings Street was a thrill for me. The appalling deterioration of the tenements, gloomy and frightening to some people, filled me with joy. This was home to me. I didn't know any other way of life. The women huddled in the doorways, trying to find some measure of warmth and shelter, or plying their trade, didn't arouse commiseration in my heart, only regret that they weren't in my stable. Boots' impression was altogether different from mine. "I sure feel sorry for them bitches. I bet they done damn near froze in them doorways." Then she added, "If it was me, I'd walk up and down instead of standing still. That way at least you might stay a little bit warm." Some of the more notable pimps could be seen sitting in their cars with the motors running. Sometimes a girl would run out of a doorway and get in a car. After sitting in the car for a few moments to get warm, she would run back to her doorway and continue working. I parked in front of Big Mama's. Most of the women standing in her doorway knew me. They began to yell before I got out of the car. "Look at Whoreson, honey, driving a Cadillac and diming down," Marge yelled, a healthy, coffee-colored woman. Boots got out of the car and waited for me at the curb. She put her arm around me and tossed her head up. Her attitude revealed beyond a doubt that I was her man, and that she was plenty proud of it. We walked up the stairs, arrogant and self-sufficient, without a care in the world. Big Mama, her face all aglow, smothered me in her huge arms. "Whoreson, boy, why didn't you write us something? Here I've been worried to death over you, and you don't even bother to write." I finally extricated myself from her embrace. I hadn't realized how much I had missed this big woman who cared so much about me. There was a lump in my throat, and I hoped that my eyes wouldn't betray me by glittering with tears. "Come here, baby," I said to Boots, and meet my grandma. Boots was a big woman herself, but when Big Mama embraced her, she was completely lost in those enormous arms and bosom. Big Mama removed a bottle of wine from her refrigerator, and we sat around in the kitchen, drinking and reminiscing. "Whoreson," Big Mama said, "I still got your flat, boy. If you want to move back in, it's okay with me. I've been paying the rent and sleeping there sometimes. It does my poor heart good to get away from all these silly girls at times. I'm sick of hearing them talk about their damn pimps." My acceptance of the flat seemed to bring joy to the old woman's soul. I guess she just felt as if I were her wayward child. On my part, I not only felt but knew that, except for Boots, she was the only person in the world who really cared about what happened to me. Quite a bit of time had elapsed since we entered the apartment. I stood up. "Well, Big Mama," I said, "I guess we had better be going. We've been traveling all morning and need some rest." Boots stood up and clutched my arm for support. The drinks and weed had finally caught up with her. "That child sure can't drink much, can she?" Big Mama asked. "We've been drinking all morning," I replied. "Plus, she just got out of the hospital today." "If that's the truth, Whoreson," Big Mama said plainly, "don't you go putting that girl to work too soon. You wait till she's ready, you hear?" She followed us to the door. "I mean that, Whoreson. If you need any money, boy, let me know, but you better make damn sure I don't hear about that girl out there working sick." A friendly warning followed us down the stairs. It was obvious that I wouldn't work Boots until she was in good shape. Amusing as Big Mama's threat was, it would benefit me to pay heed to it. If I put Boots on the streets, working, and Big Mama got the wire, she wouldn't hesitate to lock Boots up in her flat, and there was nothing I'd be able to do about it. It was a sure bet that I wouldn't try kicking a door down. Any time a man has been raised by a woman, his mother or not, there are certain liberties she can take with him that no other person in the world would dare do. By the time I got Boots in the car and was starting the motor up, someone knocked on the window. I glanced over my shoulder and saw Ape grinning at me. Reaching over Boots' sprawled-out form, I opened the car door and let him in. He waved back at the man he had been with as I pulled away from the curb. Ape had filled out quite a bit since I'd seen him last. He had been big before, but now he was huge. When he smiled, he still resembled a titanic gorilla. He didn't have but 2 teeth in the front of his mouth, and his lips were large and blubberish. When Boots got sober enough to look up at him, she tried to climb on top of my lap. "Watch out, woman!" I yelled. "What you gonna do, sit on the steering wheel?" How far we got to go to find some good reefer, Ape? He hesitated for a moment. "Billy got some light green, Whoreson, while Eddie's smoke is good. It's got a lot of sticks and stuff in it." He added, "Eddie's dealing out of the pool room. I don't care nothing about the sticks, Ape, if the smoke is boss. The smoke is mellow, baby," he answered. "The sweet thing about it is that it don't take no time to cop. When Eddie ain't at the pool room, he leaves his bag with the rack man." The pool room was on John R., so I turned down a side street. "Give him $15, Boots, out of my inside pocket. Cop me a half a can of weed, Ape, and pick up a couple of bottles of wine. We'll be around at the flat where I used to stay. Is that cool with you?" He took the $15 out of her hand. "That's swangin', brother. What should I do if some of the mellow fellas want to come around to your pad with me? Cut 'em loose?" I laughed. The expression on his face revealed all he didn't say. I knew that he was wondering if I would cut all of my old partners loose now that I had a caddy and a whore. Bring whoever you want, man. This is Whoreson, not John Flippingates. He stuck his hand back in the car. I leaned over and smacked his hand hard with mine. He yelled, Mellow, I can dig it. I can really dig where you coming from, baby boy. He turned and catted towards the pool room. Boots looked at me, amused. Baby, I can really tell that you're at home.